Towards the end of the PS2's life cycle, you would begin to see a multitude of lesser quality budget entries, almost like shovelware games, to be released on the system. A lot of them were published by known brands such as Phoenix Games, among quite a few others, that mainly consisted of more budget entry like either racers or platformers, but the majority of them were usually just either point and click adventures or mini puzzle games, as they generally were created to appeal to younger audiences. But I suppose in many respects it was an entry point for lesser known developers to get involved with developing games for the system. But so many of these games were being spread out to the masses that it was just crazy, and you'd have to wonder why, because it would be hard to believe if anyone was really interested in buying them, and I wasn't sure there would have been many sales with regards to them. And this title, Cartoon Kingdom, which released on the PlayStation 2 in the year of 2007, pretty much at the tail end of the console's lifespan, is a collection of a variety of mini games that are based and aimed at a younger generation with kids, where you have anything from drawing activities to cards, matching pairs, very simplified tasks or games that the majority of us probably would have played or known from growing up as kids ourselves. It's rather simplified. To be fair, there's not really an awful lot going on. It has some very cartoony style backgrounds and drawings, and the overall gameplay is simplified. You usually move a cursor around that'll appear on the screen, and you usually have to point the direction of where you want it to go or the options you want to choose, and that will be your main interactive point for all of the mini games that you'll end up playing. So you can actually play with single player modes or even against your friends in a multiplayer mode. I suppose in a lot of ways, if you had a lot of young kids in the house at the time, this would have been probably a decent interactive way to get them to learn new skills or to understand certain things. But at the same time, like I said, that's really all it would have been aimed for. Kids that were interested in like school activities and so forth. That's primarily, I'd say, what the aim for was with this, as the games are very simplified. Like you have your typical drawing puzzles where you have even numbered dots where you have to go from 1 to 2 to 3, XYZ and so forth until you reach the end, until you complete the entire drawing. I remember myself going back and doing a lot of those as a kid growing up. We used to buy drawing books all the time and would spend hours doing those type of activities. So that is something that you would be familiar with. But there's nothing outstanding here. There's nothing that's going to break new grounds. It's just a simplified activity book pretty much, but in a digital format, but for consoles. But you would see a lot of games like this that would appear on the system, even with later entries. These games were even appearing on the PS1 towards the end of its lifespan as well. There would games even be seen like this even on the PC and other platforms, so they do find their way onto them regardless. But they'll appeal to a different dynamic. They won't appeal to everybody, but they will appeal to that generation of younger kids. But it is what it is. But what are your thoughts on this? Did you manage to witness the massive influx of these type of games that were seen release on the console during its later years? And did you even play any of them at all? So be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you are interested in seeing more games, even in this quirky style nature, that were released on the PS2, then you can check out this playlist to see a lot more videos of other games that I have covered on the channel previously, to see them in action. And I will see you in the next one.